It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Hey, good morning and welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News on this, the 16th day of May, 2020. Coming to you from Forest, Virginia and Central Virginia near Lynchburg. And we've got one of the kitties coming to visit. Hi there. Hi there. This would be Cottonelle. Oh yeah, you can sit here. You're gonna look. You see, you look right in the camera. That's that. So Cottonelle comes to visit. Both kitties have been in the cave today, running around. They're doing a bunch of running through the house. They're a little skittish still, but anyway, that's Cottonelle. That's one of the kitties came for a visit. So, and I take it she's already squirming to get down. So that's okay. All right. See you later. There you go, kitty. So that's Cottonelle. Amanda's trying to grab Charmin. Charmin says, "Nah, forget that." So anyway, moving on. We do have a couple of things to cover this morning. By the way, I did see that Tom and Gretchen are already here. So good morning to both of you guys. I'll get over there in the chats here in a bit. I want to remind everybody of tomorrow. For those of you that know, I co-host the Cruises for Solo show from London on Sundays at 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, which is 8 p.m. London time. And our guest tomorrow for Pete and John and I is going to be Jeff Stevenson, a comedian who's worked on a ton of cruise ships over the years. He's also had a number of acting credits. So just going to be a fun show. And for those of you that don't know, last week when we had Emma Latisse on, we had an audience literally from all over the world. I mean, South Africa and Russia and Norway, and how it was cool. So we're getting a nice turnout for the shows on Sunday. So this should be a fun show. And when you get three nutcases like Pete, John, and I, and a comedian, that's got to have disaster written all over it. So should be fun. Should be some laughs. So join us tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Now, my top story this morning is... Actually, it bothered me a little bit more than I probably should let it, but the cruise members aboard the Majesty of the Sea started protesting the failure of Royal Caribbean to follow through on the project of getting the crew members home. They put it off apparently several times and actually had a major protest on board the ship yesterday. Several hundred of the crew members congregated in the pool deck, making the signs protesting Royal Caribbean's refusal to follow through with its plan to send crew members home. Apparently, Royal Caribbean has changed the plans at the last minute on 5 occasions over the last month. The crew members were chanting, "Send us home," erected signs of "Do you sleep well, Mr. Bailey," which of course is referring to CEO of Royal Caribbean International, Michael Bailey, who was quoted earlier by the Miami Herald stating that flying crew members home via private charters was too expensive. Mr. Bailey collected around $25 million in compensation over the last 4 years, but he can't get the crew members home. So to a certain degree, I can understand Royal Caribbean's feeling that it's too expensive to charter jet them home. On the same token, I can understand these guys bucking back a little bit. Been 63 days at sea. They can't land anywhere. So it's just not a good situation. Of course, there's other signs referring to how many suicides do you need, which is referring to the deaths of numerous crew members in the last couple weeks, including one on sister ship Jewel of the Seas, who committed suicide, and an assistant waiter who died on Mariner of the Seas earlier this week. So they're just not getting them home as fast as the folks would like. I did see that Tom made a comment as he wondered if these guys know how bad the situation is on land, and maybe they're better off on the boats right now than they are on land, which is certainly an interesting thought on that one. Now, related to that, in a way, I'm sure everybody has read at least one story about all the ships in Manila in the Philippines, which was part of repatriation from literally all over the world of getting Philippine folks back home. And at one time they had 20 cruise ships in Manila Bay. And then before they could get all the shuffling of folks done and people on board and all that, a typhoon comes in. So there's a typhoon that hit yesterday, I believe it was moving in yesterday. So all the ships had to leave before they got done with all that they had to do. So that just threw a clinker in the works for all the folks that were over there at Manila in the Philippines, which is all part of the whole repatriation thing too. And folks, the money that these cruise lines are spending on getting these crews home, whether it's those that are spending actually for the private jets as the CDC is required, or however they're doing it with the ships sailing all over the world, is an expensive proposition. And I maintain that the cruise lines know they're not going to be sailing anytime soon, or they wouldn't be spending this much money getting the crew members home. So I stand by what I've said all along as far as cruise ship sailing anytime soon. Now, interestingly enough, with that in mind, yesterday I did a Chillie Chats with Dr. David Smith of Access Healthcare, who's my friend and my doctor. And one of the things which we talked about a lot in that interview, right up to from a medical standpoint, his thinking about going on cruise ships in the near future. So you might want to check the link out in the description below for the full interview. But I asked Dr. David specifically about my situation being quarantined or sheltering in place. My first question for Dr. David is, with the state of Virginia opening the economy today somewhat, and many other states across the country doing the same in this period, for senior citizens like me that have been sheltering in place, what's your thoughts about how long we need to stay sheltered in place?
Chillie, I think, this is a question to which the answer changes day by day. I think there is no question but that people who are older and people who've got, chronic medical conditions, diabetes, obesity, lung disease, etc., are at substantially higher risks than a lot of the rest of the population. I don't think at this point in our community, which has got very low penetration, that senior citizens have to stay locked up, never to come out the front door, never to enjoy some of the better things in life. But I think they still need to take more precautions than the rest of the community. I think being outdoors is a good idea. And, it pretty clearly has been shown that that's probably about the safest place you can be. I think you should be out and around. But I think as a senior citizen and as somebody with some higher risk factors, you need to pick your spots. I would not be going to crowded areas, and I think you probably should still stay out of the Lowe's and the Home Depots of the world as much as you can. And if you are in, public exposure, I think wearing a face mask is still a good idea. I think you should do that. But I don't think you need to be like the little lady that I talked to a couple of days ago who had not come out of her house in more than 2 months. I think it's time to come out.
That's Dr. David Smith of Access Healthcare. The link is down in the description to take you to the full interview on Chillie Chats. It was a fun interview, and one that I found very enlightening and rewarding as well. I'll be back after this word from Scoot Around. Do you have a bad back, bad hips, bad knees, or any other mobility issues? Think about Scoot Around. For scooters, walkers, wheelchairs, even oxygen needs, delivered right to your cabin. Scoot Around for all your mobility needs on your upcoming cruise. All right, that's Scoot Around. As all of you guys know, it's something that I use, something that our friend Bonnie uses. Good folks. All right, there's a couple other things that I wanted to go over this morning. There's a bunch of music festivals at sea that they do them every year on various ships, literally all over the world. Sixth Man has postponed the remainder of their 2020 festivals at sea. Most of them have been rescheduled for 2021, including Joe Bonamassa's Keeping the Blues Alive at Sea, which is a Mediterranean cruise, is now moved to August of 2021 from Athens, Greece, on board the Norwegian Pearl. The Broadway cruise will be sailing in November of 2021 from New York, going to Bermuda. And the resort-based All the Best Fest will be in May of 2021, returning to the breathless now Onyx Resorts in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. Knotfest at Sea will be in August of 2021 from Athens, Greece, on board the Pearl, hosted by Slipknot. And there's several others that have been rescheduled for 2021. So all those music festivals, I've never done one. Emma went on one. Our friend Emma Latisse went on one last year, and she loved it. So anyway, those have all been rescheduled. The other one is finally a story that I'm sure everybody has heard over the past 36 hours now. Carnival Corporation, the world's largest cruise company operating Carnival Cruise Line, Holland American, and Princess Cruises, announced layoffs and furloughs yesterday. Almost 50% of the land-based employees are either being laid off or furloughed for Holland America, Princess, and Seabourn, which is also owned by Carnival. And Alaska numbers are said to be even higher. All the remaining employees have been asked to take a pay cut. And the company will also cut pay of senior management. So, despite all the money that they raised here recently, they're still cutting way back. They still claim that they're going to sail on August the 1st with 8 ships. And you guys all know my feelings about that. It's just not, I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening the rest of this year, but I hope I'm wrong. be glad for you to tell me that I was wrong. So, but anyway, there has been no further word on any changes other than what we've announced thus far, which basically has put everybody past the CDC date of the 24th of July, with the exception of Royal Caribbean. I believe they're not. They're still supposedly their restart dates in June, I think. I don't remember, but anyway, that's probably gonna. I feel certain it's got to change. There's no way they can sail with the health problems we still have, at least in this country. So, all right, let's go back and take a look at some comments now. I didn't get over here at all. As I mentioned, Gretchen and Tom are both here. Tom wondering if the crew members realize they might be better off where they are. Oh yeah, and Bonnie, I don't know if I'll have to look down here to see if Bonnie's with us or not. Yesterday was Bonnie's birthday. So I wanted to wish Bonnie a belated happy birthday. I got a kick out of calling her a young chick this morning because she's quite a bit younger than I am. But anyway, it was her birthday yesterday. Gretchen says she has 2 grandsons' birthday today, Bonnie. Oh, that's nice. Happy birthday to Bonnie also. And Tom says happy birthday to Gretchen's grandkids as well. Yeah, Gretchen says each of my sons has, what'd she say? Each has 1 3 years apart. Just coincidence, not twins. Okay. Let's see. We have 7 watching. Who else is here? Say hi. Emily Archer popped in. She's from New York. Good morning again, Emily. Doctor not happy to let Chillie cruise. Yeah, it was interesting, and I'm not surprised. But at least he was encouraging enough to tell me that with the proper changing and as things get better, yeah, he's going to go along with it. He's not happy, would not be happy with it right now. But then, I was a doctor. So, Emily says he seems like a nice guy. Yeah, he is. I've known Dr. David started as a doctor for my mother. That was before I even moved back to Virginia to take care of her in her old age, which is how I came back to Virginia. I was in Pittsburgh for about 20 years before that. But Dr. David, I went to church. He and his wife and their kids went to church with my mother and was my mother's doctor. And then he became my doctor when I came to town, and he's been doctor ever since. And by the way, just to give you some idea about my relationship with Dr. David, when he started talking about retiring, I told him that as long as I'm alive, he ain't allowed to retire because I'm not breaking another new doctor in. So when I kick the bucket, he can retire. So that's the kind of relationship I have with him. So Tom Henry says he might stop by NASA and borrow a spacesuit. Now, I want a picture of that one. Make sure you got a selfie, Tom, in a spacesuit. That would be awesome. So, of course, he's got a cruise, a Royal Caribbean cruise that they have not canceled yet. It's supposed to sail on July the 3rd. And so officially, it's not canceled. So good luck. But anyway, I feel certainly that's going to happen. But we'll see. So Jade has left Dubai and is headed through the Suez Canal, wondering what the plan is. Is that part of the expatriation thing? I mean, they're taking people home? I don't know. I have not heard what the Jade's doing. Of course, NCL's, they're not canceling things on ahead as much as I'd like to see either. So, of course, I thought tardy in canceling my Alaska cruise, which I'm supposed to be on right now. Yeah, this is supposed to be my week in Alaska. So they were, I thought, a little slow on that one as well. But who knows? Pete popped in. There's Pete from London. Looking forward to Sunday. Yep, Pete, so am I. I tell you, between Pete and John and I, who tend to have fun to start with, and all three of us are silly as hell. And you got a professional comedian that we're going to be talking to. That show tomorrow, a lot will be just totally nuts. I'm really looking forward to it. So Emily says that the governor up there in New York, Governor Cuomo, extended the stay out to May 28th. Yeah, that's for your area, Emily. They are opening some areas in New York this weekend, and they are going to open beaches by next weekend. So that's a good thing. And Cindy wants to hear the CFS show tomorrow. That's Cruises for Solo show tomorrow. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. This is going to be fun. And I hope we get the same kind of audience we had last week for Emma, because I was just shocked, just totally shocked at where all the audience we had on that. So that is building up tremendously. So, and it's going to be fun having our guest tomorrow, who's as goofy as we are. So anyway, all right, that's going to wrap me up for today, folks. I do have one other serious matter to discuss with you, and that is concerning singing in the shower. Now, there's a problem with singing in the shower, folks, because that leads to dancing. And dancing in the shower leads to slipping and falling, which leads to paramedics seeing you naked. So remember, don't sing in the shower. That's it for the day. My words of wisdom. This is the Fat Travel Guy. You guys have a great weekend. And if anything happens, I'll be back on. If not, I'll see you from London tomorrow, and then back on this channel on Tuesday for travel and cruise industry news. Y'all have a great weekend, folks. Thanks for being with me. Later, y'all.
Thank you for watching today's travel and cruise industry news. Join us every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern for another episode. Travel and Cruise Industry News is a production of Chillie's Cruises.